region of central New York, site of historic Watkins Glen International Raceway, is seen in today's NASCAR Busch Grand National North Series Burham 150. It is 74 degrees. You may not believe it, folks, but 2 hours ago it was pouring rain here, but the rains have moved away, the clouds are parting, and the sun is trying to shine through on a racing afternoon. Talk about racing, we got racing everywhere for you here on ESPN. Coming up tomorrow, the Grand Prix of Hungary. Tomorrow morning, that's followed by NASCAR today at noon, and of course 1 o'clock, our live flag-to-flag coverage of 10th Annual Budweiser at the Glen. Hello, everyone. I'm Jerry Punch, along with two-time NASCAR champion Ned Jarrett. Glad to have you with us. You know, we're talking about Busch Grand National North Racing. Now, this is a little bit different than what we talked about in the past in the Busch Grand National Series in the South. These guys run 22 races, 15 different racetracks around 7 states, but primarily in northeastern regions, states like New York and Pennsylvania, New Hampshire, and Connecticut. And Ned Jarrett, where does this series fall as far as the hierarchy of things? How do they make a jump from the North Series, and where do they go?
Well, I think the logical step, Jerry, would be to the NASCAR Busch Grand National Series. Of course, there are 4 events that are combination events that are run each year, so they have that opportunity to run in a few events if they want to. Very few take advantage of that, but certainly the Busch Grand National Series is a high-profile division, has more prize money, and certainly that's something that they would look at. So I think that would be a step they could take. Those cars are very similar to the cars that race in the Busch North, so they wouldn't have a big transition to make as far as that is concerned. And what a wonderful opportunity this is this weekend for these drivers to be exposed on national television and also to be exposed in front of the NASCAR Winston Cup drivers and teams who are here for the Bud at the Glen tomorrow. So it's a good opportunity for them, and we've already seen some drivers who have made the step from this series to the Busch Grand National Series.
Some graduates have gone south. They've even made it to Winston Cup. Some names like Randy LaJoy, Chuck Bow, and Joe Bessie, and the guy that's standing by right now with John Kernan.
Well, Jerry, a couple years ago, Curtis Markin came up here to get a little exposure maybe, and it worked out for this old boy from Virginia. He's back on the Busch Series in the South and one of the leading rookie contenders on that series. And he starts from the pole today. And Curtis, how much did your experience up here in the North, the Busch North Series, help you make the transition to the South?
Oh, a lot. You know, we ran the late model stock cars back in Virginia and around North Carolina, and never really had any experience in the Busch cars. That's the series I wanted to be in. But everybody I talked to said, well, you don't have any experience in a Busch car. So when Quint Bovair, the Skoal Bandit car, asked me if I would be interested in driving for him, I said, well, there's my opportunity to work with a big-time sponsor and a first-class Busch car. So I took the opportunity and came up here, as it would be, and ran the Busch North Series. And the cars are a lot different from the late model stock cars. And it took, you know, quite a while to get used to the Busch cars, the way they handle and the way they roll around and things like that. Then going to different racetracks, figuring out how you got to get the car set up and things like that. You know, it was a tremendous help to me. We got to come to places like this, Watkins Glen, and get some experience. You know, because the regular Busch cars run here also, and I think it really meant a lot before I went to the Busch Series to run the Busch North Series.
Hey, driving for Hubert Hensley now. They're out of the Ridgeway, Virginia area near Martinsville Speedway, and they were aware of you, but how aware were they of you until you came up north? I mean, as far as exposure and driving and performing well in one of these cars.
Well, we were always friends, Jeff Hensley and I. We actually raced together some back when he used to race, and I knew Hubert, and we'd always speak, but it's like I said, I was a late model stock car driver. I didn't have any experience in Busch cars. Then when I came up here and was driving the Busch cars, you know, I guess they started looking a little more. Then when it came time to find a driver, we just run across each other at the racetrack, and I went up to Jeff. Hey, how you doing, Jeff? He said, hey, how you doing, Curtis? I said, what are you up to? He said, well, I'm looking for a driver. What are you up to? I said, I'm looking for a ride. Let's talk. So that's how it got started, and it, you know, really worked out. The Lysol people are great people to work with, and this Lysol Pontiac, the Hensley team, really has this car running good today, and they have it running good every week. The only thing holding them back is me being a rookie, but it's coming together, you know, pretty good. We've been running real strong here lately. You know, we don't have any luck, as they say. We have trouble finishing some of these races, but it'll turn, you know, as long as we keep doing what we're doing.
Well, Curtis Markham will start on the pole today, and as I said, Jerry, he's one of the leading rookie contenders on the Busch circuit, and tomorrow morning they're going to make an announcement with the sponsorship here for next year, so look for him to do even better next season on the Busch Series.
Indeed, John. In fact, he's a former Rookie of the Year in this series, the Busch North Tour, and now running for Rookie of the Year in the South. By the way, that announcement, we'll let you know a little bit of a secret. Lysol will be back next year with that team of Hensley and Markham, and they will also sponsor the Lysol 200 here at Watkins Glen, the combination event, again next year with an option for 2 more years, so a great announcement for that team. Now, hey, by the way, we should be racing right now. We aren't racing right now, as you can obviously see, because of the rain delay. They are trying to dry the racetrack here, 2.45-mile track. They have to dry. It is essentially flat, so it takes a little while to dry, but they're making some progress. Now, Ned, Jared, we're talking about these guys coming up here and running a very tough road course. Most of these guys, with the exception of maybe Markham and Leitzinger, have minimal to no experience on a road course. They do not have a road course car. I mean, what are they up against?
They can be up against the wall pretty quick if they aren't careful, or against those tire walls out there off in the grass somewhere. And we might see some of that today because of the lack of experience they have, and also the lack of having road course cars, which is very important when you come here, because they're running in a different direction than they run on the oval track, so they got to reverse those cars basically. And so it'll be interesting, no doubt about it. But I think they like the challenge. I think they like the diversification of coming to a road course and knowing those that have aspirations of going on in their career to higher things, that they'll have to learn to run on this type of racetrack, so they welcome the opportunity.
Hey, one of the drivers said they have those orange cones around the course to show you where to go. When he came back after practice yesterday, they had 4 cones in the car. He said now they had to go come and get the cones back and put them on the course. No, just kidding, folks, but it's going to be an experience for you and for a lot of these drivers today. Now, how about the rules for this series? For more, let's check in with Bill Weber.
Well, Doctor, the big rule here will be when they come into pit. This is the Pontiac of Joe Bessie. These tires will be running on, these cars will be running on bias ply tires, but there's a lot going on when they come into pit. They're only allowed 2 tires for the entire day. All the teams, or most of them, have taken 2 left side tires. But here's the key. These McCreary bias ply tires are solid as a rock. In fact, last September at New Hampshire International Speedway, Joe Bessie put on 1 set of tires when he got to the track and never took them off. He practiced on them, he qualified on them, he won the race on them. So when these guys pit, and the pit window will be no further than halfway. You can get to the halfway mark on fuel, but not much further than that, and you don't want to run out of gas on a road course. When they come in, some guys will put on those left side tires while they put in the fuel. Others will gamble, leave them on, hoping to pick up a few precious positions when they pit. It will be very exciting when these guys come in. Some races, these Busch North teams do not pit. Most races, they do not change any tires. So we'll be watching for that down here today.
So, Bill, it'll be an experience for not only the drivers, but the crews as they try to assemble and attack this 2.45-mile road course. When we come back, we'll take a look at the starting lineup and possibly have 62 laps of exciting road course racing, Busch North style. Stay with us.
Hey, I'm not home. Just leave a message.
Tommy, the hot tub's getting cold. Where are you?
Yo, Tom, we're shooting pool. You coming or what?
Thomas, your birthday dinner's in the oven. Everyone's waiting. Tommy, if you're there, pick up. Tommy?
You want to know how to choose a motor oil? Take a ride to your local garage and see what the mechanic puts into his own car. Fact is, of all the brands of motor oil, more ASE certified master technicians choose Valvoline for use in their own cars and trucks. So before you buy a motor oil for your car, know the one more top mechanics put into theirs. Valvoline, the #1 choice of America's top mechanics.
The 95 racing season is hotter than ever, and Napa's leading the way with the Road to the Championship sale. For a limited time, pick up a Napa Pace Car t-shirt for just $6.99. Assorted Armor All car cleaners, your choice, only $2.49. And an Evercraft 59-piece bonus tool set for a low $19.99. Napa's Road to the Championship sale, where everyone's a winner.
We keep America running. We keep America running.
5G's hurts. When the car fires up, it's power. It's talking to me. All I hear is music. When you hit the throttle, it pulls your head back and it wants to rip it off. It's you, the competition, and everything has to be just right.
Pure oil now.
Man, from that time on, all you can think about is winning.
Pure oil leader.
Man, that's a ride.
Legends live. Pure lead.
Speed Road coverage of the Busch North Series Burham 150 is being brought to you by Valvoline, the #1 choice of America's top mechanics. By Suzuki. Your Suzuki motorcycle and ATV dealer has the ride you've been waiting for and the financing to get it. By Napa Auto Parts. We keep America running. And by NASCAR 94 Year in Review. To order, call 800-71-NASCAR. Back at Watkins, Glen, New York, we are in a brief rain delay. It was pouring rain here a couple of hours ago, Ned Jarrett, and the rains moved away. They began drying the track, and the track is drying very quickly.
Yeah, they got a couple of jet blow dryers out there, and it really is drying very quickly. Normally, a flat racetrack like this doesn't dry as quick, but they've done their homework in getting this thing in good shape here, and it shouldn't be too long until we'll be racing.
Now, ordinarily, NASCAR would not welcome a rain shower, but this morning they did welcome a shower because they had a plan here, and the master plan was to test a rain tire. You're watching Martin in an historic test, Ned Jarrett, testing a Goodyear rain tire for the first time here at Watkins Glen.
Well, it's the first time in NASCAR Winston Cup racing that I know of that they've considered running rain tires, and it's going to be interesting. Is it going to be for road courses only? Or, of course, Mark Martin did some of the testing in the Valvoline Ford, and I think he had a lot of fun out there.
Now, Dale Earnhardt, the 7-time Winston Cup champion, went out and watched Marlin. In fact, drove out on the course out toward turn 5, and he watched Mark Martin come by lap after lap, and every time Mark came by, he got a little bit quicker and a little bit braver.
Kept picking the speeds up. In fact, by the time they were finished with the testing, they were down within about 15 seconds of what the qualifying record is here for the NASCAR Winston Cup cars, and that compares favorably with the SCCA cars and those that do run in the rain.
Now, you saw that tire a moment ago as Dale Earnhardt decided to go out on the track in his Goodwrench Chevrolet with those grooved rain tires. Now, they are a grooved treaded tire, almost like the Aqua Tread radials you see that Goodyear has for the passenger cars. They're a tire that has a groove cut in them to allow the water to dissipate.
And, of course, they would be a much softer rubber compound on these tires, too, because they wouldn't have a heating problem that you would have on a dry pavement. So it's going to be interesting to see what the results of those tests are, what the plans might be in the future for NASCAR Winston Cup racing.
And, you know, you got to wonder why they would do that. To answer that question, Ed, is that the schedule is so tight that if you want to expand the schedule, if you want to be able to get away race after race without having to cancel a race, hey, if they canceled a race, the Brickyard 400, it would have had to been run sometime in October because the schedule is so full. And that's why they're doing it, fans, to try to make sure you come to a racetrack, you will get to see a race. Even if it does rain, they may possibly run that race in the rain. Now, talk about a guy who's driven in the rain and the sun. He's a road racing expert, and he's standing by with John Kernan.
Well, Jerry, one more thing about those rain tires. They look almost exactly like the Eagle GTs that I have on my Pontiac Firebird at home, and they're pretty good tires in the rain on the streets, so I can imagine how good they'll be out here. And Busch Leitzinger, as you mentioned, a lot of experience in IMSA with a rain tire. What do you think about the rain tire in Winston Cup?
I'm really glad to see it. I think it's important because the gods of rain like to hang out here at Watkins Glen a lot. So it's important that we, if it does rain during the race, that we'll be able to still put a show on for the fans. They don't have to wait around another day. And at the road courses, I don't think it should be a problem. I mean, you don't get up to that high speed for that long of a time. And it can make for some good racing, a lot of slipping and sliding around.
How much of an adjustment do you have to make as a driver going from a dry pavement, a slick tire, to the tire with the tread on the wet?
It really rewards the smoother drivers, the guys who don't really abuse the car and try to do violent reactions to it. You have to be very smooth and gentle with the power.
So you have to take it kind of easy to go fast, I guess.
Exactly.
Kind of like we were talking about yesterday. Speaking of yesterday in the qualifying round for Winston Cup, kind of got a little loopy out there.
Yeah, a little loopy might be a good word for it. Yeah, I was just trying too hard to go for the top spot and not just trying to get a good one in the bank, and I got caught out by it.
Well, he was 41st fastest yesterday. He's hoping they get second round qualifying in today. But before that, you've got this Busch Grand National North Series race to run. You're on the outside front row.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. It's going to be a super race. Curtis Markham is a real good competitor, and so are all the guys in the series. And you know, we have WTA, JTV10, and New Pig Corporation and Unimart with us for the first time here. And I just want to give them a good show.
Well, he didn't know that he wasn't supposed to put his helmet on until he got into the car, but he does know at the end of the interview he's supposed to mention those sponsors, Jerry.
Hey, and John, what a break that would be for Leitzinger if they get to requalify. They're going to try to get second round qualifying in for tomorrow's Bud at the Glen. In fact, Darrell Waltrip, who didn't get to complete a qualifying lap, would have had to start in a provisional spot. We'll come back with live Busch Grand National North racing action. The Burham 150 up next. Stay with us. Glen, New York, good crowd on hand, and thank you very much for that nice ESPN and ESPN2 artwork there, you fans who watch and listen. We appreciate that. Hey, by the way, had live qualifying yesterday on the Deuce, and we'll bring you more live qualifying coming up. Hey, at Michigan, Bristol, possibly Darlington. Hey, Wilkesboro, Martinsville, folks, you guys tune in to Deuce who want to see ESPN2 live qualifying Winston Cup pole day coming up as we had yesterday, and saw a track record broken net once again. Incredibly, an outstanding run by Mark Martin.
He had a great run. 13 drivers broke the old track record, as a matter of fact. There are a couple of spots on the racetrack that have been repaved, a little bit of extra banking in turn 11, and that helped to contribute to the extra speed that they got here yesterday, and of course the Goodyear tires that they had also worked out very well for this new pavement.
Well, the drivers are getting suited up and getting in their cars, getting cinched up, and one of the legends, you might say, in the Northeast region when it comes to stock car ranks is a guy who's 61 years of age. Hey, you wouldn't know it by watching him drive. His name is Stub Fadden, and he's standing by with John Kernan.
You know, Jerry, walking up here to the car with Stub, I told him, I've heard of you ever since I can remember. He said, well, I've been in this business, what, 34?
This is my 34th year. I don't know. I think I'm going to shoot for 35.
So, why do you keep doing this?
Well, I don't know. It's a family sport. It runs through the family. My son, my wife, who's enjoyed it all the years, and it's just what we do on weekends. This is our fun away from home, fun away from work. So we just go racing.
I guess in the 34 years that you've been racing, you've seen a lot of drivers come and go, haven't you?
Well, and I've seen a lot of changes in, you know, the series and the automobiles. And, you know, I've run through a couple of 3 series that just, you know, they come up to peaks and then die out. And, you know, I've been with the NASCAR North when that was, came north. And then this deal here when they regrouped. And, you know, Napa come on board, and it's enabled me to compete in this tour here. So, you know, I'm just out here having fun.
Now, you say it gives you something to do on the weekends. What do you do during the week?
We have a Napa store and Napa Auto Care Center and a Napa machine shop. We're pretty Napa orientated, so, you know, and then we go racing on the weekend with a Napa car. So, you know, it's all part of business and pleasure.
Can you think back a little bit? What's the most interesting thing that's ever happened to you in this racing business?
Getting a national sponsor, really, I think, because of all the years we ran, we had a lot of local help with Patton's Gas and a lot of car dealers and whatnot, but, I mean, this is kind of the turning point for us, really, to have some recognition that we, you know, with a sponsor and, you know, and also the added revenue, you know, that's made a big difference.
Now, who was one of the toughest guys you ever raced against that, you know, we may, you know, on the national basis, you may not be that well known? Got anybody?
A lot of tough ones, I'll tell you. Actually, I've enjoyed racing tremendously with Dick McCabe, who's called the Irish Angel. You know, a real tough competitor, but a real honest competitor. I don't have anything bad to say about him. And, you know, he says he's going to bow out this year. I'm going to miss that because, but I've seen a lot of guys come and go. And I don't know. Like I said, I want to make it the 35th year.
All right, well, good luck. 35 will be coming next year. Now, the driver who's leading the points in this division is standing by with Bill Weber.
Okay, thanks, guys. It's a lot of fun down here during this little delay. I am with Kelly Moore, who is leading the Busch North points. And obviously, Kelly, you're chasing a championship today, a road course venture for these cars. Tell us about your strategy coming in here, your roll-off fourth.
Well, we're really excited to get back to the road course. You know, we haven't had a lot of runs here at the road course. Last time we were here, it was kind of short, and we have a lot of fun here. And Watkins Glen always puts on a good show for us, and we just hope this rain holds off so we can get this race on.
You didn't have a lot of luck last time you were here, you were telling me earlier.
No, we didn't. We ran one lap and had a rear end blow up on us, so hopefully today we'll take care of the equipment a little better, and we'll be there at the end.
How would you describe the driver approach here, Kelly? Will it be more aggressive than perhaps some race fans are used to, or is it a more patient process?
Well, I think with this rain that we've had this morning, and you know, where it's clouding back in, there's going to be a pretty aggressive approach to this race, you know, because it could rain most any time. So we're going to go try to get right to the front and see what the rain does for us.
That's Kelly Moore. He's the Busch North points leader. Now, one of the guys we were talking about who made the move from the north to the south is Joe Bessie. And Joe had a good qualifying run here. Your approach here today, Joe, first of all, let's talk about that. You'll roll off sixth. Had a good qualifying run.
Yeah, we did. We're real happy. Delco Remy America, Pontiac, and the Vecchio Motorsports team really worked good. First time here together on a road course. Had a good effort. Never claimed to be any road course guru, but I'm pretty happy with the way we qualified. The car's comfortable and just going to just maybe ride the first half out a little bit and save the car.
Joe, you've had some great runs down in the Busch Series down south. You've had some success down there. You're back up here running a limited Busch South schedule. Tell us about the transition that you've made and the success you had up here that enabled you to take your team to the south.
We just had a great year in 1992 up here. We finished We finished second in the points, just 6 points shy of Dick McCabe. Had 3 wins, bunch of poles, and it was a season where I felt like I I hadn't conquered the north, but I was ready to move south and take on the next level. We had some great runs down there, and looking forward to having some a lot more before it's over.
And Joe Bessie hoping to have a good run here today at Watkins Glen. Let's go back up top.
As you said, the 1992 runner-up to Dick McCabe in the Busch North standings. And Joe Bessie, you know, hey, wanted to go south and run, but didn't have a sponsor. Now, I'm told that possibly the Delco Remy America people may run a few races up here and take his program south for a run at the championship in 1996. We can only hope for Joe Bessie. We're getting set for racing as the track is drying. The fans are moving in. The clouds have pulled away. Back with the Burham 150 NASCAR BGN North race after this. Back at Watkins Glen, New York, the field of 38 lined up there. They're getting set to start engine just a couple of minutes away. We told you that this combination series, the Busch North, they run 18 standalone events. They will run 4 combination events. Take a look at the point standings thus far here. After 9 races, Kelly Moore, who finished runner-up a year ago after 3 wins. He leads the points over Dave Dion, a 3-time winner in the series this year. Mike Stefanik, former NASCAR Modified Series champion. Tommy Bowles, also out of the modified ranks. And Jerry Marquis rounding out the top 5 in point standings. Let's go back to pit road.
Jim standing by with Ricky Craven, who graduated from the Busch North Series, went down south, ran on the Busch Series, and now the leading rookie contender on the Winston Cup Series. How important was this series to your development?
It was a big help. You know, I never forgot where I've come from, and these guys made it tough on me for several years, and it's nice to see them race each other in this type of environment and have some ESPN coverage, and they really deserve it.
Do you see anybody on the circuit right now who might be moving up or who's got the skills to move up?
I think the opportunity for these drivers in Busch Grand National North is here now, and it was obviously when I was there, and they'd perhaps look at where I'm at and say, well, there's a chance. And Keith Lamell and Andy Santerre, and there are several of them, but those 2 are young guys that are dedicated to the sport, and they got a chance.
Well, we certainly know that Ricky Craven has done very well since moving south, Jerry.
Ricky, the 1991 Busch North Series champion, a 2-time most popular driver up here back in 1990 and 91. We're set to fire engines at Watkins Glen International Raceway. Exciting road course racing coming your way next. They have names that can breathe fire, like Dragon, and names which hold their own colorful place in this sport's history. They are familiar names like Spencer, Paul, not Jimmy, and Bodine, Eric, not Todd, Brett, or Jeff. They run 3,100-pound stock cars with the McCrary contact patch, and they run them wide open. It's Busch Grand National Racing Northern Style, and it's next. We welcome you to historic Watkins Glen International Raceway, stop number 10 on the 18-race, $2 million NASCAR Busch Grand National North Tour, the Burham 150, and they have fired the engines. This field of 38 roars to life. John Kernan, Bill Weber, Ned Jarrett, and yours truly, Jerry Punch, bringing you live racing action. We have a tremendous weekend of racing. Before we tell you about that, we mentioned that our buddy Benny Parsons not with us. Benny under the weather, and it's not true. He did not get a bad box of donuts, just a little bit under the weather, and be back by phone hookup tomorrow. Hey, what about tomorrow? Racing the Grand Prix of Hungary, 7:50 a.m. tomorrow morning. NASCAR Today on the Deuce, ESPN2 at 12:30. Then our live flag-to-flag coverage of the Budweiser at the Glen 10th annual edition. Mark Martin on the front row alongside Bill Elliott. A lot of concentration now among those drivers. A lot of young competitors. Some of the veterans you saw, Stub Fadden a moment ago, Bobby Dragon, etc. But here are some young guys. Greg Clark trying to make a name in the Busch North Series. And as you heard Ricky Craven say, Ned, trying to make that move south and eventually the Winston Cup.
Well, of course, many of these drivers have that in the back of their mind, and they know this is a good opportunity for them to expose themselves, their talents, in front of a lot of people. Certainly the people here in the garage area at the Watkins Glen International Raceway, but also to the millions of fans who are watching in today.
Some of the rookie drivers in the field. That's Ted Christopher right there in the car number 13. Keep an eye on him. Qualified awfully well as a rookie in this series.
He's no superstitious.
Not at all. Got number 13.
Yeah, you don't see that in Winston Cup racing.
And the Ford Mustang safety car leads the field as they mosey down toward turn one. Take a look at our Suzuki starting positions here. 38 strong. As we told you, Curtis Markham, one of 5 drivers to break the track record. Markham will lead the charge. Hey, Butch Leitzinger won this race a year ago in dominating fashion. 38 laps he led out of 51. This year's race, by the way, is 62 laps. Take a look back 16 through 30, and there are some pretty heavy hitters back there. Dick McKay, former 2-time series champion, starts in 26th spot.
There are some good drivers starting back there, Jerry, and that should help to make it even more exciting as we see many of those try to come up through the field.
And back 31 through 38, take a look. There's Paul Spencer in the car number 27, getting some help from his brother Jimmy out of their shop back in Mooresville, North Carolina. He qualified 32nd. Hey, Martin Truex had an engine problem. Had the other engine shipped in. He will take a provisional spot. He is a veteran of this series, was a veteran in open wheel modifieds, likes the road courses, but he starts provisionally way back in the pack in 37th spot. And we have 3 drivers who are going to drop to the back of the field. The car number 65 dropping into the back of the field. These are all due to driver changes. Now, Rob Wilson and the 73 and 03 changed engines. That's Brian Ross made an engine change, and A.J. Parker also making an engine change. By the way, Jamie Obey did qualify the 65 car, but Rob Wilson, the rookie, will start it. He wasn't here, and that's why he'll start in the back of the pack. Take a look at our road course, 2.45 miles. Front stretch, 2,150 feet, about a third of a mile. Back stretch, right at a half a mile, 2,600 feet. The banking, 6 to 10 degrees, and then that's the key, 11 turns.
Yeah, and for us to be flat, 6 to 10 degrees is not a great deal. Here we take a look at the course. As we go into turn 1, you can see almost a square right-hander there, and then they go into turn 2. You turn right again, head up the hill through the Essex, and then you get all the way over to that little inner loop over there. Now, that's a challenging little place on the racetrack. Put in there a few years ago to reduce the speed before they got into turn 5. And then they have a straightaway there and back into turns 10 and 11. Very challenging course.
And we are told they're going to turn them loose next time by. The track essentially is dry. They've done a wonderful job of drying the track. Hey, did a great job repaving some segments of the track and rebanking some of the turns up in turn 10 and 11. Even the Winston Cup drivers have said, hey, what a wonderful job they have done putting this track together. And particularly, look how they banked this turn 10 right here. It used to be almost flat.
And you saw a lot of drivers have trouble come out of there in the past year. They still will have because they get a lot of speed coming out of there. And, of course, they're fully on the accelerator. But the extra banking has helped them to get some cushion off of there to where they can come off a little bit straighter. And, yes, all the NASCAR Winston Cup drivers, after practice and qualifying yesterday, were very complimentary of the work that had been done on the track in the turns that they did repave and rebank that one turn in particular.
38 cars set for 62 laps, 150 miles. The purse, $105,000. Stop number 10 on the Busch North Tour. Back with live action in a moment. Back at Watkins, Glen, New York, they will have the green flag waved next time by, trying to get a little bit of heat in those tires back and forth. Remember, these are bias-plied tires. You heard them tell you a little bit ago. They are an economy tire. McCrary makes them about $125 a tire, about $500 a set. Keep the cost down. That's the idea here in the series. Make it competitive, make it even, parity, etc. That's what they're doing now. Get a little heat in the tires. And, hey, Bill Weber, these guys aren't familiar with pit stops, so they'll grab about anything they can find for a pit board.
You're right, Jerry, and in fact, these guys found a snowshoe laying around, and that's what 49-year-old Bob Dragon will be looking for when he pulls down pit road. Actually, this is all part of a plan because they are sponsored by the top snowshoe company of Stowe, Vermont, and it's rather unique, and I think Bob Dragon won't have any problem finding his pit today. And again, that pit window will be about halfway, looking for fuel. Some guys will use 2 left side tires. Some guys will take a chance and not change them at all.
Hey, Bob Dragon better be glad his older brother Beaver Dragon didn't make it. They couldn't get the animal to hang on to the pole long enough to get him to pit, but he'll use about anything just so you understand it's your pit. And so, appropriately here in the Northeast, a snowshoe. Hopefully we will not have snow. We've had rain in the area. A tremendous storm earlier this morning moved across the racetrack, and it has since moved away, so we're hoping to be able to get green flag racing action in. Ned, you're in one of these cars, and you haven't been on a road course, and it's been raining all morning. You've had limited practice. What do you do besides maybe say a little prayer?
Well, I think that's what we saw one of the drivers there a little bit earlier, Clark, doing, was maybe saying a little bit of a prayer, and they might be doing a little bit of that now, but 52, they're getting very keyed up, Jerry. I don't think there's any doubt about that. A lot of anticipation. They tell themselves, hey, now be careful, be patient, don't go in, run over somebody here, try to keep yourself from getting run over, but I'll guarantee you there's a lot of butterflies in the stomachs of these drivers as they come around and anticipate the green flag.
They are one turn away from the green flag. They know, hey, I haven't been on a road course in a year, and I haven't been in a road course car ever, but hey, this is national television, and folks are watching all across the country. Glad to have you with us. Burham 150, and we have seen them go 3 and 4 abreast at the green flag, and particularly down in turn 1 when they all have to scramble back to one groove and make the hard right-hander. Green flag waves, and we are underway. Busch Grand National North. Hey, we told you to be 4 wide, and they are 5 wide.
And a lot of smoke out of the car number 91. That Leisinger, isn't it?
That's Butch Leisinger, the outside front row, and the defending champion of this race. A puff of smoke out of the back of his Ford Thunderbird.
Wow, what a tough wreck for him. Just as soon as he accelerated, you might think that an oil line came off or something. Although the engine could have blown, but it looks like he's still running, but certainly not up to speed.
His dad, Bob Leisinger, is the crew chief on that car, veteran road racer. And there they are, 71-47. That's second, third, and fourth as the Lysol 200 Pontiac of Curtis Markham leads him through the inner loop, the McDonald's inner loop. They call it at Watkins Glen, and Bobby Dragon, who won this race 2 years ago, is in second spot.
Boy, Bobby got through the inner loop very well and moved right up on the back bumper of Curtis Markham. Coming off of turn 5, single file.
47 of Kelly Moore in third spot, about 3 car lengths back. And the 91 car, we told you, had problems to start. Let's check in with John Kernan.
Jerry Busch has radioed back to his crew in a very dejected voice. He told them the motor has blown, so their day is going to end very, very early before completing even one lap.
Tough break for the defending champion of the Burham 150, a road racing expert, as they continue to shuffle the deck. Now, Markham, the leader, Dragon in second. In comes Kelly Moore. Then the 51 car making a good run, Jerry Marquis.
And Jerry, the car number 52 of Vince Sutter got the black flag. He apparently jumped the start of the race, jumped the green flag, so he has got the black flag. It should mean a stop-and-go penalty.
There's car number 1 and 44. That is Santerre and Bessie. And here's a car on the racetrack not up to speed. The car number 17 being shown. That's Bob Brunel. Car number 17 slowing out of Peru, New York, in the Brunel Asphalt Ford. And there's the 52 car you were talking about, Ned.
Teflon car, T-plus car, but he will not lose a lap because it takes about a minute and 18 or 19 seconds to go around this racetrack, so he got his stop-and-go penalty just a long way behind.
That was the first ever NASCAR start, so he'll understand now what the black flag means, unfortunately, the hard way. Here's the Lysol 200 Pontiac. Markham, then Dragon, Kelly Moore, then Jerry Marquis. They shuffle back in the pack. Good move there. A couple of cars making a move on the inside. The 73 car, Brian Ross, who made an engine change earlier today, making a move. There's the 77 of Vince Sutter.
The brakes are very important, Jerry, in road racing. Of course, you want to get all the speed that you can on every little straightaway or long straightaway, whatever it is, but you also got to get her slowed down when you head into those sharp turns, and the brakes are very, very important.
Whole field now meandering their way, snaking their way through the S's. That's turns 2, 3, and 4. It's good side-by-side action there coming out of turn 2. And that's the car number 21 making a move towards the front end. That's Eric Bodine, the cousin of Jeff, Brett, and Todd Bodine. He is a rookie this year.
He did a good job of reminiscent of the Bodine brothers, but he's the cousin. Oh, hey, 3 abreast here. Now what are you going to do, guys? You better use those brakes we talked about, and they did.
Fortunately, they were able to fall back. Keith Lamell leading that challenge. 3 cars, 3 wide. The car number 98, also back there, one of the rookie drivers. The car number 88, that is Rubinick, Brett Rubinick, out of Ashley Falls, Mass.
And here was that car number 27, the red car that sort of looked like he was going a little slow off of that turn.
Looked to be the Paul Spencer car, yeah, Ned.
We'll check on that and see if he did have a problem or...
We mentioned action. The car number 17 was slowing on the course. That was Bob Brunel. What was the problem, John Kernan?
Well, Jerry, he had to come into the pits. They had to change rear tires. The left rear, the lug nuts had come loose, and the wheel was wobbling. First, he thought he had a broken suspension part, but it turned out the 27 car, Paul Spencer, slow out on the race course. He has lost his ignition. He's having a problem with the ignition box, Paul Spencer.
That's the Vincent's Amusements car that they prepared down in Mooresville. Paul said, hey, I'd love to be able to get a sponsor and run the full tour in Busch Series competition. It looks like he is not going to make it back. He pulls that car off the racetrack.
Yeah, and he's not very far off the racetrack either, Jerry. I expect, boy, here's a lot of good action. I expect we'll have to see a caution to get Spencer's car removed.
Now that 0 car is Dick McCabe. That's the bright yellow car in the middle of your screen there, just behind the 21 machine of Eric Bodine. And McCabe, the veteran, giving the rookie Bodine a little bit of racing view there in the rearview mirror. McCabe, now we are told, may call it quits after 3 more races, may hang it up and say, I'm going to call it quits and retire after about 25 years in the sport.
Well, he's showing there right now. He still has the savvy and the ability to get in there and mix it up with them. Now, they're showing a yellow flag in the area where Spencer's car is, but we do not have a full course caution as yet.
Side-by-side action, car number 21. It's Bodine and McCabe out of turn 11 in the early laps here at Watkins Glen. Remember, 62 laps, 150 miles. The Burham 150, and here's McCabe, who dives to the inside and will take the spot away. They were battling back for 15th position. That's back midway in the pack. McCabe leading that draft. Meanwhile, back up front, here's the Lysol 200 Pontiac, pulling away a little bit from the second place car of Bobby Dragon. Kelly Moore is third, Jerry Marquis fourth, and the car number 78 being shown in 5th spot. And we'll be back with more live action after this. Things happen in a hurry here at Watkins Glen. A frightening moment for car number 47 driver Kelly Moore out of Scarborough, Maine, the Tic Tac Ford. Now, he was running in 3rd spot, but that's what's left of his Ford Thunderbird after going headlong into the tire barrier up in turn 10. And that's good to see. Kelly wave to the safety officials and climbs out of the car. We talked to him earlier prior to the start of the race, and he is our points leader. He's the points leader in the Busch Grand National North Series. And actually, where did he hit? Well, folks, if that fence wasn't there, we could shake hands with him. He would have gone right into the television compound, as we see our helicopter shots there showing you exactly where he hit. And there's the ESPN TV compound where Mikey Wells and Neil Goldberg and all the guys are sitting telling us what to do in this telecast. And thankfully, that barrier was there, or he could have fed him lunch when he came through there. The ESPN trucks parked just outside of turn 10. Now, this happened on lap number 6. He was running 3rd behind Bobby Dragon in 2nd spot and Curtis Markham, the leader.
And, Jerry, it looks like he came off the turn or started into the other turn, got his right wheels off on the grass. And once you do that, you don't have any traction. You can see the wheels are locked. They were not slowing him down. They were just scooting him right on that wet grass. Sometimes it feels like you pick up speed when you get in a situation like that and you hit that tire barrier head on.
We saw Rick Mask have a very similar incident there a few years ago, and remember that was very frightening. In fact, they came back and put more and more tires up there. Jeff Bodine had one a couple of years back before that, so it can certainly hurt you when you hit, but fortunately the tire barrier is buffering there and Kelly able to walk away. Let's check in with Bill Weber.
And this is his crew chief, Steve Sullivan, and Steve was asking me to kind of describe what happened. We haven't seen it either, but we told you he got off in the grass and then just couldn't make the save. That's tough when you get off course here.
Yeah, he said he locked the brakes up, and that was the end of it. Slid off once you're in the grass, I guess. I assume he hit the wall down there somewhere. I'm not sure.
And he pretty much radioed back that he's finished for the day.
Yeah.
That was tough. You guys had a good car here.
Yeah, he knew he was done when he hit, so next week, I guess.
Okay, well, Kelly hasn't had much luck here at Watkins Glen. Let's go up to John Kernan in the 63 pit.
Well, Curtis Markham and Jeff Hensley, his crew chief, were talking about pitting this last time, but they see some raindrops, so Curtis has elected to stay out on the track. The problem, well, there are 2 problems for the 63 team. The pole sitter, the engine developed a skip, a little bit of a miss. Curtis seems to think it might be a plug wire, has worked its way off, but then the radio communications. Curtis cannot hear Jeff Hensley now when he tries to talk to him, so they're having a couple of problems. We'll have to wait and see if they come in and go under hood to check and see, in fact, what the problem might be. They're hoping and they're praying that it's just a loose plug wire.
Well, he continues to lead here at Watkins Glen in early laps, trying to pick up his Busch North win, and that's the reason for the caution flag. A heavy impact by our third-place car, Kelly Moore, in the tire barrier. Back with more from Watkins Glen in a moment. Back at Watkins Glen, New York, our speed roll coverage of the Burham 150 continues. Now, we're under caution for the first time today. A frightening moment for Kelly Moore, and that's the remains of his Ford Thunderbird, the Tic-Tac Ford Thunderbird. And there, Doyle Ford holding that yellow flag. And here's Kelly's car just skating toward that tire barrier. No way to stop it.
No way to stop it. You see he has the brakes locked. In fact, Jerry might have been better off if he would have thought to let his foot off the brakes. Don't think that it would have gotten any traction, that he could have made a turn there, but certainly having the brakes and the wheels locked didn't help the situation any. And apparently he got into that turn just a little bit too hard, hit the brakes, and then got the right wheels off on the grass, and that just scooted him right out there into the fence.
Looked like a long fly ball out of turn 10 and hit the barrier there just up against the fence. And speaking of long fly balls, how about Sunday Night Baseball? How's that for a segue? Sunday Night Baseball, Mets and Astros, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Hey, the Mets, a midseason overhaul, getting rid of some high-priced veterans, inserting what they hope will be their team of the future. They'll call on Brett Butler to lead the Mets as they head for Houston, Texas, and play the Astros. That's coming up live, Sunday Night Baseball, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And we'll let them get this racetrack squared away and cleaned up as they continue to work over in turn 10. And we will take another quick break and come back with live green flag racing action for the NASCAR North Series here in the Burham 150. That's why we have the yellow flag. The driver is okay, Kelly Moore. We'll come back with live road course racing in a moment. Watkins Glen, New York, under caution, continuing the first time today for an incident involving Kelly Moore. Take a look at the field summary, your top 15. Curtis Markham, our pole sitter, still showing the way. Bobby Dragon in second. Jerry Marquis, Tommy Bowles, and Mike Stefanik rounding out the top 5.
First you have Joe Bessie, Santerre, Baker, By, Christopher.
Hey, take a look down there
Dion.
at 14th spot there. The car number 18 started 21st. That is Russ Brown out of Mansfield, New Jersey. He's made a pretty good move. He's now being shown in the top 15.
And another guy that's made a good move is Dick McCabe. He's moved up to the 16th position. He started back in 26, so he's gained 10 spots so far.
Kennebunkport Maine veteran. Take a look at the rest of the field that they are running now. And we showed you that a guy who won this race a year ago and had trouble on the very first lap, had to park it. That's Butch Leisinger, who's standing by with John Kernan.
Well, Butch, just at the start, a lot of smoke. Blown engine?
Yeah, went from the gear change first to second and didn't over-rev it or anything, but as soon as I went into second, it just was like Armageddon inside the car. There was smoke and noise and cars going on either side of me. It was a pretty bad scene.
Now you have to go back over to the Winston Cup garage, and I know you're probably looking up at the sky.
Yeah, it's getting kind of darker by the minute here. I hope that we can hold it off long enough so we can get the qualifying in so I can get the kennel car in the race.
All right, well, good luck today. We'll let you run on over to the Winston Cup garage. Butch Leisinger is out with the blown engine.
You know, Butch normally runs the IMSA World Sports Club car, the Rob Dyson racing effort, and Dyson said, hey, I'm going to give you the weekend off. You go ahead and run the Winston Cup, run the Busch North, and I'll be watching. So certainly he'd like to be able to get the car number 40, the Dick Brooks car, in the field. And he had a good lap going yesterday in our live qualifying show, but just maybe went a little too quick up in turn 10.
Yeah, he got into the inner loop a little bit too hard over there and could never get it back under control and spun it around. He didn't hit anything, but he got off the course, made a 360 and came on around, but his time was certainly not good enough to make the field for tomorrow's race, and he does want that opportunity to re-qualify.
Getting set for a restart here, Curtis Markham, former Rookie of the Year in NASCAR North competition, takes the green flag. He has led all 9 laps so far, and he's getting a challenge right now from Bobby Dragon.
And apparently that miss that Markham has in that car down that long straightaway there, he just couldn't get the speed up, and Dragon could, and Dragon probably learned during that caution that Markham was having an engine problem. And here's a spin. Car number 13 goes round.
That's Ted Christopher, one of the rookie drivers. After having a good qualifying run, the Plainville, Connecticut brings the bumper Oldsmobile from one bumper to the next. He spins it around 360, gets that. It's actually a Chevrolet Monte Carlo listed as an Oldsmobile on the starting grid, but the Les Care Kitchen-sponsored Chevy back in the right direction.
Well, he just made a 360, backed it up into that little corner there, no problem. And here's Markham still having problems getting a challenge now from the car number 51. Of course, that's Jerry Marquis.
Jerry Marquis back in third spot, and looks like Markham is holding him up. Obviously, that car not running up to speed, Ned.
Yeah, when he starts to accelerate off the turns, that's where he is really hurting. And here goes Marquis on the inside. Might be the outside by the time he gets to the turn, but he makes the pass.
Jerry Marquis will take the second spot away. Battle back there between Andy Santerre and Joe Bessie, the 44 and 1 cars, as they are battling for 6th and 7th spot. There's Bobby Dragon being shown as the leader. Look at Mike Stefanik in the 09 car.
He moves around the Curtis Markham car.
And we're going to show you what happened down here in turn 1 just a moment ago. A little bit of excitement on the restart.
Well, the cars were bunched very tightly there, and I don't know if the 13 car had a little bit of help or what the situation. We'll look at it from another angle, maybe we can see. And here he comes into the turn, and he's already going around. He was in a lot of traffic there, Jerry, so it's very possible that he might have gotten a little bit of a tap, and it wouldn't take much at that point on the racetrack to spin him around. And yeah, there's that contact. We thought it might have been, and sure enough it was.
Great shot, thanks to our folks from Steel, a Steel platform helicopter up there, giving us an overview of and showing us exactly what happened here a moment ago. And hey, there's our Steel helicopter shot from high above Watkins Glen. Steel makers of a full line of leaf blowers, trimmers, and the #1 selling brand of chainsaws worldwide. Steel providing our helicopter service shots today. And a car on the course, we are told, will bring out the caution flag for the second time today. A car apparently stopping on the course, the 58, of cutting a left rear tire, and that will definitely bring out caution for the second time. Mark Porcaro out of Clinton, New Jersey, in the Pro Chevrolet.
Well, here he is, Jerry. You can see him slowing down. Apparently, the tire had already gone flat on the car, and he gets it off on the grass, and you can see he has no traction, but he doesn't hit anything. He just slides around between. It looks like that left rear tire maybe was flat.
So with the tire flat, if he would try to drive it back, it'd probably rip the fender off the car. So he brings it to a halt there, and that will bring out the caution flag because he's just about 4 or 5 feet off the racing surface. So under caution for the second time today, Bobby Dragon is our leader, 49-year-old veteran of NASCAR North Stock Car Competition. Back with more in a moment. Track Facts are brought to you by Quaker State, the intelligent oil for longer engine life.
You nose around down here, you find all kinds of unique tools these teams will use to make sure they can get their car back on the track as quickly as possible. This is a flat tire lever. So what happens when the car comes in, say with flat on the right side, or actually the tire's gone away, the car is sitting on the ground, you cannot get the jack underneath it, you lift this, the piece will hinge, and you can use this to raise the car just enough to get the jack underneath it so you can jack it up the rest of the way and change the tires and go on and make your repairs. Now, as you're making those repairs, you may need a wide variety of tools, and this is Bobby Dragon's pit, and they have a lot of these tools down here. This, of course, is the most unique one. It has several uses, including you can use this baseball bat to roll the fenders away from the tires to end any tire rubbing problem. It's also a driver maintenance tool in case your driver complains a little bit too much.
And talking about tires going down, here's the car that brought out the caution flag. Car number 58, Mark Porcaro, had a left rear tire going down, and our pole sitter had a problem that was developing and getting worse and worse. He is now on pit road. And John Kernan, what's going on?
Jeff Hensley and the crew, they take the hood up, they go underneath. What they will do is take, similar to a crayon, and mark each of the header pipes to see which cylinder might be dead, not producing combustion. Now they're going to check and make sure that all of the plug wires are tight. They're also putting on another, making sure the radio antenna is tight. Curtis has checked his radio connection. That should be okay. Remember, they're having a problem. They can hear Curtis, but Curtis cannot hear them. So they'll check that plug, and now they're checking back also along the distributor and the 51 car. That's Jerry Marquis. He is in. They're going to add oil to that car. The oil light had been coming on, and they did not want to lose the motor. Now they're telling Markham to rev up the engine, and it sounds fairly normal, maybe just a little bit of a skip. Now they've decided that they've got that problem fixed. They're putting the hood down, putting the hood pins in, and it looks like Curtis Markham will be down in the way. We will check to see if, with Jeff Hensley, to see if they've got the problem fixed, Jerry.
And Jerry Marquis, there's a shot of Jerry Marquis, car number 51. He was running in second spot, the 38-year-old driver, driving a 1994 Chevrolet Lumina. Second full year in Busch North competition. Had a pole early in this year and up at Loud, New Hampshire. In fact, it was at Loud, New Hampshire back on April 9th. Looking for that first win here in 1995. So he exits pit road. We're still under caution for the second time today due to a car cutting a tire up at turn 10. Back in a moment. Lights still flashing atop the Ford Mustang safety car here at Watkins Glen, New York. We're under caution for the second time today. An incident, really a cut tire and a car stalling up out of turn 10 produced the caution flag for safety reasons. They were able to put the race under yellow and go out and pick up the car number 58 that had a problem up there. That is Mark Porcaro. Now, a lot of cars making some moves early on here, Ned. One car we mentioned that maybe come up in the back in a hurry is John Preston. He started back in 28th spot, 32-year-old driver from Wyalusing, Pennsylvania, in a Chevrolet.
And he is now being shown in the 16th position, so he has made a good move through the field, and it's not easy to pass on this racetrack, so it's impressive those that we have seen that have made some good moves.
You know, Preston ran last year for Tony Vecchio's team and started his own team this year. It's only his 6th race in 1995. Hadn't had a good year thus far, but trying to make up for it here. Now, here's a guy who had a great run going. Jerry Marquis was in the second spot. You saw him in the pits a moment ago. Let's check in with his status with Bill Weber.
Well, as John had reported, Jerry did call in and say the oil light was flickering. The car was running perfectly, but they didn't want to take a chance. They figure it's early, they can work their way up back through the field. So they popped the hood, they added 2 quarts of oil. Of course, since this is a road course, a lot of things going on under that hood. That oil sloshing around back and forth. They say that might have triggered the light. They added 2 quarts, added the fuel, and they sent it back out on the course. Now, they were going to try and follow Curtis Markham back up through the pack, but he has come back on the pit road.
And the crew going to work. What they're doing is changing ignition boxes. This is the same car they had at Nazareth. The number 1 ignition box was causing them a similar problem. Under a load, it would skip. Now, all 8 cylinders were firing. They found that out with the crayon things. Everything melted, and it doesn't skip until he gets on the gas, I should say. So what they've got to do is change the plugs. They're going to the second ignition box, and they're hoping that that will solve the problem. But right now, Jeff Hensley and the crew working frantically, trying to get it changed over. And now they rev it. Sounds like it might be okay. They're still looking underneath the hood. And we'll just have to wait and see if changing ignition boxes will fix this problem. But everybody very concerned down here in the pole sitters pit.
Well, you can lose track position here at Watkins Glen, but it's hard to lose a lap. It takes so long to circulate this track under the yellow flag, and they continue to work on that car. You say, well, how can it be there so long and not lose a lap? Well, it takes a long time to get around here.
Oh, yeah, you're looking at better than 3 minutes to go around here during a caution period, so they got plenty of time to work on it. Looks like they got it ready to go.
And that's the patriarch of the Hensley family, Hubert Hensley, the left side of your screen there. He was looking in the side door, and hopefully they've got that car fixed, and we'll get Curtis Markham back on the racetrack, and hopefully back to green flag racing in just a moment. Well, this is not a very good sign. I'm not saying to the attractive young fan that's a good sign, but the umbrella overhead, not a good sign, Dad.
No, it isn't. The rain has started to fall here during this caution period, Jared. They were ready to go back to green flag racing, but you can see the rain is coming down pretty good here now. Too much to restart this race.
Doyle Ford still waving the yellow flag. They called off the restart. Elmo Langley in that safety car, and Bobby Dragon trying to pick up where he left off here 2 years ago. He is leading the field, and we are told from our cameras around the course that it is raining all around this 2.45-mile road course, so that's not a good sign. And sort of ominous-looking clouds back in the distance, Ned.
Yes, there are some pretty mean-looking clouds around, Jerry, and it's not unusual that you might have rain in one part of the racetrack and not have it in the other because this track is so big, but that's not the case here now. It's raining all the way around.
As we saw this morning, when the wind picks up and begins to blow, it can blow some of these clouds out of here. This morning, it looked like it was midnight, about 10 o'clock this morning. It was dark over the racetrack and pouring buckets, and the wind picked up, and an hour and a half later, the sun was coming out, and the track was drying. And so you see the wind blowing some of those fan flags there. Some of the folks came prepared. They can go out and sit in the rain, or they can go out and dig potatoes in the garden. Whatever they want to do there, they got their hats on and their umbrellas up. As Curtis Markham, our pole sitter, takes this opportunity to come back down pit road, and we had gotten a report that they might have found the problem.
Jerry, what I was told, Jeff Hensley, when they checked the plug wires the second time in, when they changed ignition boxes, one of the plug wires, apparently the boot had cracked, and they were getting some arcing, and that was causing the problem. So they're changing plug wires. They've also got out some silicone putty, I guess you could call it, for lack of a better term, kind of like the window caulk that you would use at your home. They're going to try and put that around it and hope that that will solve the problem. But the main problem everybody's got right now is this rain that is starting to come down.
Of course, they can do this work now because they still are under caution. Now, if they should red flag this race, they wouldn't be able to do that work. But as long as they're still under caution, they can come into the pits and do anything on the car they want to.
Boy, this Busch North Tour has had so many problems over the years. Over the past couple of weeks, they've had 2 consecutive rainouts, one coming at Stafford, Connecticut back on July 28th, and again August 6th at Thompson, Connecticut. They've had 2 consecutive races rained out, and now they get pelted by rain today here after 12 laps. Now, what kind of strategy are some of the crew chiefs and drivers talking about? How about Dave Dion, a 3-time winner this year who stands second in the point standings? What's he saying to his crew chief, Bill Weber?
Well, this is Roger Dion, his brother, and you guys, Kelly's out of the race. You guys second in points. How about the strategy here? You just going to try and close up that gap a little bit, Rogers?
No, I don't think that's really going to play too much in the picture. This is the first time ever on a road course. Our strategy is really just try and take it kind of conservative, see what the track will give us, and if it gets towards the end, I'm sure Dave will get pretty racy. But right now, it's just protect the equipment, protect the car, and just try and get a good finish and some good experience, and let the points take care of themselves later.
A lot of rain here this morning. Obviously, the track conditions must have changed a little bit. What has he told you about his car so far in this event?
Car's going really, really good. He's real happy with it. The engine's pulling good. It's handling real well. He's kind of run over the top of a few of them going down through the S's and stuff. But he's playing it conservative. Let them weaken a little bit and see what happens as the race rolls along a little bit.
You guys have really battled the weather this year too, haven't you?
Oh, it's been rough. It's been about a month, I think, since we raced. But you can't do much about the weather. We'll just, this one here, I think we just want to try and make sure that we're towards the front after the halfway so we don't get caught in the pit and caught last or something if it does rain out after halfway.
All right, it's a 62-lap race, but they're looking maybe just for lap 31, and now we're getting the call for perhaps the red flag here at Watkins Glen.
And a little bit different accent than what you might ordinarily be hearing on some of the guys who run the Busch Tour, Ned. That's a Hudson, New Hampshire accent.
Yeah, it's different certainly from our southern accent. When I was managing the Hickory Speedway back in the early to mid-70s, Dave Dion was the only guy in the country that we knew of that was running a Ford on a regular basis back then. And of course, there were a lot of hungry Ford fans down in our part of the country, and we'd have Dave to come down and race against our guys occasionally. I'll tell you, he gave a good account of himself. He won some races, always put on a good show and run up front. He's been racing for a long, long time, hasn't he?
A long, long time. Unfortunately, we're not going to be racing here for a while because you saw that red flag waving from Doyle Ford's hand. That means they're going to stop this race at lap 14 because of the rain in the area, so the cars come to a halt. Getting back to Dave Dion, I might mention the fact that he used to carry his race car inside a hollowed-out school bus. And he liked that because no one would pass him when he stopped on the road, that no one would ever pass the school bus, so he didn't have to worry about being in harm's way. They are rolling the cars to a stop. What's going on there, John Kernan?
Jerry, the NASCAR officials are just now going down pit road, telling all the crews to get their car covers. They're red flagging the race, stopping it. No more than 2 crew members per car to go out, put the cover on. They cannot do any work, and that's bad news for the 63 team. Curtis Markham had to leave the pits the last time without the air cleaner on, without the cowl installed, and they need to put that car back together. But right now, he's going to have to sit under a tarp. They'll have to wait until this race gets restarted, come back on.
Come in and do it in a hurry, where before they would have had a few minutes to do it while he went out on the track and came back around, but now they can even get themselves better organized.
Well, the field, there are 38 cars, in fact 37 cars, or 36 cars still out there, the 38 that started, 33 being shown on the lead lap with Curtis Markham, who made those pit stops a moment ago, our pole sitter, being shown as the last car on the lead lap. 33 cars still in the lead lap. Bobby Draggett, who won this race 2 years ago. He led only 4 laps 2 years ago. He's already led more than that this year, and we're just at lap 14 under a red flag condition here at Watkins Glen International Raceway. We'll be back with more action, and we'll tell you what's going on with the weather here as we try to get some Busch North racing action live on ESPN New York. Getting ready to resume the Burham 150 NASCAR Busch Grand National North Series event after a lengthy rain delay. Here's how they were running after 15 laps. Bobby Dragon, 49 years of age, stock car veteran. He's still being shown as our leader.
There's still 33 cars in the lead lap, and you can see, Jerry, the track is beginning to get pretty dry now. There are still a few damp spots, but they'll run the cars around here for a few laps and should be able to get it totally dry so we can get going here soon.
Some of the cars starting back toward the back of the field. Martin Truex in 22nd spot. He started shotgun, in fact, in the last row by virtue of a provisional. Had an engine problem. Robbie Crouch also back there. Take a look, as you said, Ned, 33 cars. Curtis Markham was our pole sitter, and he is the final car on the lead lap. So we're getting set. We're back rolling on the race course. Caution flag is out. We're getting set for green flag racing action, NASCAR style, from Watkins Glen in just a moment. High drama building here at Watkins Glen. Let's listen.
What do you mean? You could see him when he come inside. He was running 90 miles an hour.
That's Jeff Hensley, who is the car owner for Curtis Markham, who had made a pit stop talking with a NASCAR official, pleading his case. Now, what happened was Curtis Markham made a pit stop. The field came around. They saw the cars coming out of turn 11. Markham left his pits and kept his pit speed as he was supposed to down pit road, but the pace car in the field, Ned, passed him, putting him a lap down.
Because the pace car is running at a faster pace than it normally runs under caution than it did.
And now NASCAR has seen what happened, and as a result of the appeal, NASCAR says, hey, we realize what happened. We're going to correct the mistake. Now, here is Markham back in the pits. They're going to replace the breather.
Hey, give me the air filter and stuff back here. What? Hurry up. You're going to get loud. Going up now. All right. It's on there. Where's the now? It was not on there. Have in. Cow. Hey, screwdriver.
Replacing the cowl insert.
Let him go. Hold on. You get the head in. Hey, we got to go. We can pass the pace on now. Go. Hey.
They know we're getting ready to go green, so he needs to go back around the pace car. He has to go down pit road, watch his speed, get on the racetrack, and he has to catch the field and then pass the pace car. Let's go back down to their pits where Jeff Hensley is standing by with John Kernan. John?
Jeff, some high drama just a minute ago, but Curtis now trying to catch the pace car to get back on the lead lap.
Yeah, we were in such a panic here to get some plug wires and stuff on and change and ignition boxes. They didn't tell us that they were going to speed the pace car up, and when we dropped the jack and left, we were far ahead of the pace car, but they were running like 80 miles an hour, and they beat us to the end of the pit road. But fortunately, NASCAR, they did the right thing, and they're going to let us get back to the tail end of the lead lap where we're supposed to be. So we really appreciate that. Maybe we can. We're still skipping, so I don't know if it's going to do any good or not, but we're going to do the best we can.
What else can you try and... Well, Jeff is now getting ready to talk to Curtis. They did ignition box, plug wires, change. Jeff said they were just going to throw parts at it to try to get it to fix. But Jerry, as he came down, he's over on the inner loop now as the rest of the field coming by us here on pit road. But as he came down the front straightaway here, you could hear the car still skipping.
Well, he's almost a half a lap behind and running almost full speed, even though there are still a couple of damp spots on the racetrack, Jerry, but I don't think that's going to affect him too much. We'll be getting the green flag here before too long, but he's trying desperately to catch up.
Now, the field is down in turn 1, and he is just coming out of turn 10 with that one hard right-hander. That's turn 11 he's in now. He'll come beneath the bridge, out of turn 11 by pit road, and now he is almost to the rear end of the field. They are just entering turn 1 now at reduced speed. There's the back of the field there, and now Curtis Markham has caught the field. Now he needs to pass all those cars. That is Paul Spencer in the back. He will pass all those cars and come around again, getting back on the lead lap. 19 laps are complete. We're getting set for green flag racing action, NASCAR style here at Watkins Glen. Stay with us. Zero car, Dick McCabe, the 47-year-old Kennebunkport, Maine veteran. Fisher Snowplow sponsorship, and boy, he has plowed his way from a 26-spot starting position all the way to 9th spot. The veteran who's going to hang it up in 3 more races, 30 years on the stock car tour, Dick McCabe.
You wonder, after a run like he's having here today, Jerry, if it can continue, if he really would want to hang it up. That might get him inspired again.
It should, then. Let's go down to Bill Weber.
Well, guys, some cars elected to pit and come in and get fuel during this caution period, and the object there is some teams don't think this race will go the full 62 laps, so they want to have enough fuel they can stay out on the track in case the rains come again, while as most guys that have not pitted cannot go past lap 31, lap 32 at the very most. It's a 62-lap race, so if you pit at 31 laps, you've got the question of whether or not you can make it. That's how close it will be on fuel. This is Bobby Dragon's pit. He's the race leader. They're not telling what they're doing. Back up top.
Well, we'll have to wait and see what the strategy might be. They certainly couldn't go all the rest of the way after that pit stop on lap 15, Ned. They'd have to come in at least once more.
If the race does go to its conclusion, of course, everyone expects to do that, but as Bill Weber said, there are clouds still hanging around here. Don't know if they'll be able to get all the way in, but we got the green flag, so we're going racing again.
Lap 21, caution flag, 10 laps. That red flag was an hour and 35 minutes. Glad to have you back with us. There's a Pontiac and an Oldsmobile, a little pair of Chevrolets in third and fourth spot. Joe Bessie back in fifth. He also in a Pontiac in that car number 1. But Bobby Dragon, 49-year-old driver from Milton, Vermont, the Talarco Tough Snowshoes Pontiac. He is our leader.
A couple cars running side by side back there. There's McCabe in the yellow Zero, still charging towards the front.
And they're dicing up around behind him there, the car number 22. That is Barry, Jeff Barry out of Norwich, Connecticut, who started back in 15th spot. Whoa, McCabe.
Here's the spot that you've got to get in single file, and Dick McCabe almost didn't get in single file going into the interlude.
Got a little bit of a shunt from one of the rookie drivers, Brett Rubinick. That is 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th you're watching there. Two laps to go. There are our leaders coming by. Dragon now getting somewhat of a challenge from Mike Stefanik. There's Bobby Dragon, won this race 2 years ago in the inaugural Busch North event at Watkins Glen. Side-by-side racing. There's one car way down to the inside.
Yeah, you had a notion to make it 3 deep there, Jerry, but he drove her on down on the inside. That was the car number 65 of Rob Wilson.
That's a Dick Bear-owned car that Jamie Obey qualified. Here's one car off the racetrack, Ned.
That's the car number 52 of Vince Sutter. Vince had a flat tire earlier in the race and lost some time, but he still remained on the lead lap. But he's off the course now. Maybe can't get it fired. There it goes.
Finally gets the car refired. We got a pass going on back in the pack. That's Jerry Marquis, who had a problem early. He was a second-place car and came down and had an oil line loose. Had to put some oil in the car. Now he's trying to work his way back at the 52 car back on the course, getting the car refired. Here's what happened a moment ago.
Well, you can see he spins around, gets off in the grass, doesn't hit anything. I think the engine died on him, and it took him a little bit to get it refired, but he is back going again now, remains on the lead lap.
Bobby Dragon leads him down single file, and here's Mike Stefanik's Oldsmobile, looks to the inside, thinks better of it, pulls back in single file. Tommy Bowles behind him. Behind Bowles being shown in fourth spot, Andy Santerre. Then comes Joe Bessie in fifth.
Here's Dick McCabe trying to make a move on the number 22 car of Jeff Barry. McCabe in the yellow car, Barry in the black and red, number 22.
That's 9th and 10th. They work their way to the S's. Here are the exit of the S's. Out of turn 4 is Bobby Dragon in the 71 car. Half-mile backstretch.
Now they slow down to go into the interlude. A sharp right, then a sharp left, then another sharp right. And Bobby Dragon just gets through there like if he does it every day. Car working well.
Bobby started third, currently in first. Mike Stefanik has come from his starting spot 8th in the field. Boy, Tommy Bowles has come on strong in the last 3 or 4 weeks, looking for a sponsorship. He's running back in third spot. He's got the family automobile business sponsoring his car. That's 6th, 7th, and 8th right there, the 81, 78, and 29 cars.
These guys really going at it, Jerry. They've
That's Rick By out of Oakville, Ontario in the 78 car. One car making a move on the inside.
Or at least trying to. Dave Dion in the red and black car. Behind in this 4-car race we're looking at.
They scamper to the S's. Meanwhile, the leaders, Bobby Dragon, as they are 3 wide here at this pack.
And one car did not get slowed down. He will have to fall back as long as he falls back in line, which he does. That's where he was running there. The car number 1 of Joe Bessie just simply didn't get slowed down to go through the interloop. And so I think he, as long as he got back in his position, that he would not be penalized.
Challenge for 3rd spot here. Andy Santerre makes the move inside of Tommy Bowles, and Santerre in the car number 44 will make it stick out of turn 10. That making us see if Bowles can challenge back on the inside. No, Santerre will slam the door out of turn 11. So they're single file. Dragon the leader. Stefanik in 2nd spot. It's Pontiac and Oldsmobile. Then comes Santerre making a move in his Chevrolet Monte Carlo. He's the car number 44. And Dick McCabe, we're told, is slowing. There he is, the car number 0.
Well, he had made a charge towards the front, had gotten up in the top 10, but now headed towards the pit area. Tough break for Dick McCabe. Now, when you have that kind of luck and you're thinking about retirement, you say, man, I said, why do I want these headaches? Let's go on and get out of here. Well, he had a good run going, which had to make him feel awfully good, though.
So one veteran has bad luck and heads for pit road. Another veteran is trying to hold off the youth movement in NASCAR North competition, the Busch North Series, and that's Bobby Dragon, 49 years of age, lifting that left front tire and shuffling that race car out of turn 5. Back with more racing action from Watkins, Glen, New York in a moment. 50 laps clicking away here, 26 in the books, and that is Bobby Dragon in the car number 71. He's our leader. Behind him, the 09, Mike Stefanik in 2nd spot. But Andy Santerre has really moved up on that lead twosome to put some pressure on him. And here was our 4th place car, Tommy Bowles, on pit road. And Bill Weber is standing by. Bill?
Quickly around to the left side of the car. They're going to put on 2 left side tires. They've already fueled the car, not going under the hood. Now it's going to be a 4-tire stop. So apparently he felt he had a tire going down, did not know which one it is. The car fueled, working on the right side, trying to get the right rear on, waiting to drop it. Then all that back out. Let's go up to John Kernan.
Bill, I'm in Dick McCabe's pit, and after running so well and making that big move early on in the race, he's taken the steering wheel off. It looks like he'll be climbing out. What we're being told down here in the pits is that probably the rotor button has broken. They've been trying to crank the engine after making some changes, changing the ignition box, and they can't get it to refire. So Dick is taking his helmet off. He'll be climbing out of the car very shortly. We hope to get a word with him then.
As one of the veterans calls it a day, another one continues to lead here at Watkins Glen, Bobby Dragon. 30 years with IBM, he retired, and now he's racing full-time. And they pulled away. The 4th place car, remember, Tommy Bowles went on pit road for that pit stop, a 4-tire change. You heard that a moment ago. Bill Weber and John Kernan down in the pits, and Ed Jarrett and yours truly, Jerry Punch up top side. And here's the 4th place car, number 81. That is Kim Baker out of Wilbraham, Mass., the Ocean Spray-sponsored Pontiac. Behind him, the car number 78. That is the efforts of Rick By out of Oakville, Ontario.
Yes, those 3 leaders have pulled away. You can see quite a distance back there to the 4th and 5th place cars. As they head towards the end of the S's.
And here's Baker in 4th, By in 5th. 29 car being shown in 6th position is Dave Dion, a 3-time winner this year. Jeff Berry, the car number 22, going by.
You fans of this series will recognize your favorite driver as they come into the picture here.
Car number 7, that was Dale Shaw, last year's national champion, the Skoll-sponsored car, Skoll Racing Pontiac.
And Jerry, we see Curtis Markham there in the car number 63. He has moved from 33rd position now up to 18th position. So he's gained 15 positions since the green flag re-weighed, and we wonder if maybe they did get that miss fixed in the Lysol 200 car. He's moving up through the back.
Just joined us, Burham was our pole sitter and early leader, and they had a problem with a miss. They determined to be an arcing spark plug wire, which they tried the silicone caulk, and then they had to finally go in and change it. That created some problems, put them at the back of the field. Of course, road course racing track position is so difficult. Started first, currently in 18th spot. Lysol 200, former Rookie of the Year in the NASCAR North Series. Here's another battle here at 51, Jerry Marquis, and he is battling car number 77, Victor Sipton of Toronto, Ontario, the Canasta Corporation Ford.
And Jerry, he has made a good run back through the field, car number 51, because he had made a pit stop as well and was back there in about 30th position, and he now has moved up to 13th.
And the leaders are up exiting turn 11. That's the last turn. That's Mike Stefanik.
They continue to put distance between themselves and their competitors.
And one of the veterans now climbs out and walks behind the wall, and I think John Kernan has caught him.
Quite a charge from early on in this race, and now you parked it. What's wrong with the car?
I don't know. Something went out on the ignition. We changed 4 shocks this morning there. It made a big difference in the car. You know, the vicious snowplow along Pontiac was coming right along. We were looking for a good day, but not to be.
All right, Dick, better luck, I guess I should say, next week. Now let's go down to Bill Weber.
Well, Tom Bowles pitted. He'd radioed in. He thought he had a left rear going down, so you can change 4 tires under green here, and that's what crew chief John Munson decided to do. They didn't lose a lap, and he thinks they can go the distance. He thinks they can go 40 laps on their fuel. So they are one team that wants this race to stay green, and there is some activity down here in our leader's pit, and he could be coming into the next couple of laps.
Well, they're nearing the halfway point, Bill. Now, the car number 76 that you mentioned, he is running in 25th position right now. That's Tom Bowles. So with those fresh tires and maybe enough fuel to go the rest of the way, hey, that might work out for you.
Got to wonder now, these guys are averaging about 5 miles per gallon. You figure this is a 2.5 mile, a little less than 2.5 mile track, 2.45. That's basically 2 laps per gallon. They carry 22 gallons. Say if you pick up 20 gallons, that's 40 laps. They may be able to make it, so the leaders have not pitted. So somewhere between laps 38 and 40, we'll expect to see him come on pit road. And there's Tommy Bowles, who's already made a pit stop and is set to go to the completion of this 150-mile event. Back up front, Bobby Dragon won this race 2 years ago. Only led 4 laps, but the important part in that was he led 3 of the last 4.
Those are the ones that really count. If he can be there at the end. It looks like Stefanik maybe has moved back in on him a little bit, Jerry. He has pulled away a little bit, but now Stefanik and Santerre have moved back a little closer on him.
Whoa! That's the 4th place car, Kim Baker in the Ocean Spray Pontiac. He just sprayed some cones and nearly gets the back end of one car, and Joe Bessie just missed the back end of his Pontiac. Great camera work, guys. They caught him right as he came into that apex of the inner loop and just looped it.
Well, he did a good job of once he got the thing around, you know, once he was spinning, there wasn't a whole lot he could do, but he did a good job of getting it back out there. But there were a number of drivers that did a great job of keeping from running all over him. Let's watch him come into the inner loop here, perhaps a little bit faster than he should be coming in there. He locked the brakes, and around he goes. He didn't really get out in the pavement on the inner loop. The thing just spins around in the grass. Nose comes right out in front of somebody, and there's Joe Bessie. The whole car comes out in front of him. Bessie gets by, and we keep racing.
Boy, I don't know how Dave Dion missed him in the car number 29. Dion nearly had him. Here's the 2nd place car, Mike Stefanik in the pits, the 09 car, and Bill Weber is there.
And it is fuel only for Mike Stefanik. No tires, waiting for the fuel to fill the tank. They pull it out. Now they want to jam it back in, see if they can get all the fuel in there on lap 31. He was running up front. They're waiting, and now the gas tank is out, and Mike Stefanik is away.
Well, Steve Hibbert making the call for no tires. Hibbert puts fuel only in Mike Stefanik's car. We'll see if that's going to pay off. And here is Jeff Berry's car number 22 in.
And he is getting left side tires on his car as well as fuel. Should be able to go the rest of the way now. We're at the halfway mark as these drivers come in for what should be their only pit stop.
Berry was being shown in the top 10 in 8th position in that Chevrolet Monte Carlo.
And again, they can make these green flag pit stops, especially those that are up in the top 15 or 20 positions, and unless they have an extremely long pit stop, can stay in the lead lap.
And here's our leader halfway, and Bobby Dragon, the car number 71 in the pits. He brings that Pontiac down pit road. Dave Smith, the crew chief and engine builder, standing by, and so is Bill Weber. One car off the racetrack, 52, once again having trouble. He gets the car refired and headed in the right direction. Let's go back to the pits and Bill Weber.
Well, Bobby hit the snowshoe just like we told you earlier. This is gas only. They pulled a bluff down here. They pulled out their tires. They got out their air guns. They had fuel spilling. We dodged that. 18.4 seconds. They were trying to bluff everybody. They had their tires laid out, the air guns ready to go, but they had hinted it would be a fuel-only stop, and that's what it was.
Bobby Dragon started in 1965 in a stock car, been at it for 30 years, trying to possibly get a big win on national television here at Watkins Glen. Car number 71 has been leader, just made his only scheduled pit stop of the day. Rejoins the field and now back up there.
Has taken the lead, Jerry. Here he is, the lead car.
And watch the 52 car once again. He's having trouble with that turn one.
He really is having a tough time out there today, but so far he's been able just to get it off on the grass, spin it around, and get on back out in the action.
And our leader heads down pit road, Andy Santerre, in the car number 44. Andy already a winner this year, once at Thompson, Connecticut back on June 18th, and he is leading in the Lube Plus Chevrolet Monte Carlo. And his crew waiting to see if they will change tires. Bill Weber is there indeed. Bill?
And this is fuel going in on the right-hand side. They're checking the left front tire, checking under the right front. No tires here either. Fuel only stop. They pulled it out so the fuel has a chance to fill. And they jam the can back in. Andy Santerre sitting in the car waiting for the signal to go. Now there's a problem. They're going to have to use a second fuel can. Apparently this one's not working. This is taking forever. You can see them sticking a second can of fuel into the tank, waiting for it to go into the overflow. Yeah, signal Andy Santerre's away, but that took a long time, and they could have put tires on, and that's 27.5 seconds.
Boy, Ned, so many other cars now in the pits making their pit stops. They can't go much further on the one tank of fuel, but what a problem there for Andy Santerre.
Yeah, that's going to cost him a tremendous amount of space out on the racetrack. You know, an extra 12 or 14 seconds at least over what the others, their pit stops, and that is going to cost him dearly.
Well, with those pit stops, this car right here, car number 78, Rick Pye out of Oakville, Ontario, being shown as a leader in the Commercial Motorsports Ford. Back with Watkins Glen in a moment. Scary moment, a couple of crew members down as they were fueling one car. Suddenly one car backfires, and we have an inferno here at Watkins Glen on pit road.
And as the car left the pits, Jerry, apparently the fuel came out the overflow, and the fire continued to follow the fuel, and the crew members were right there. They got out on the ground and rolled to try to get out of the way of the fire. A scary moment here.
Other safety crew members there. The firemen were on hand, but other crews from around that car came running up there with their fire extinguishers. The car looked to be fueling normally, and suddenly, as if the car backfired, we saw a puff of smoke and then an inferno as it became a blaze there in that Busch Grand National North pit.
And you can see the crew member getting attended to by the safety crew here.
And as you said, Ned, those crew members knew enough to get to the ground and roll to try to get the fire out. And the safety crews there, the firemen you see on the left side of your screen, they were there to begin spraying the chemical, as well as some of the other crews up and down pit road who rushed to the aid. And as the car pulled away, it left a trail of fuel out of the back of the car burning down pit road. As this car now has apparently had a problem, Tommy Bowles.
And he's one that thought he had this thing in his grasp, making an earlier pit stop.
Now watch the left side of your screen. That's the fire starting as this car begins. Looks like Jeff Spraker's car number 69 begins to move away, and the fire erupts on pit road. There's a fuel can laying down. They're trying to get some of the crew members down to the ground to get the fire put out. One to the right side of your screen rolling as they have him covered in a blanket. And now all the extinguishers go off trying to put the fuel that's burning on the concrete part of pit road to the ground.
tell you, it's really interesting and great to see as many crew members from other teams come forth with their fire extinguishers, even though the track firemen were right there also, but they needed all the help they could get there in that short period of time.
And also it's good, Ned, to see that so many of these people working on those cars. Watch the right of your frame. He's rolling and trying to get the fire out down around the bottom. But he was wearing a fireproof suit. You see the fire still burning and trying to get the fire out as he's rolling away from the fire. And see the fireman left side of your screen here shooting the blaze on the ground. NASCAR officials are right there also with fire extinguishers on the spot. Here come other crew members on the left side of your screen in with their fire extinguishers to put the fire out. But a few years ago, Ned, none of those guys would have been wearing those Simpson fireproof suits. And today they had them on, and that probably could have saved a lot more serious injury than what occurred down there.
Yes, thank goodness for that. And here's a big smoker out on the racetrack, Jerry. And that's Bobby Dragon, the car number 71, who led this race for so long. Here's Curtis Markham coming around him. That might even put Markham up close to the lead. But Bobby Dragon, a big problem here. Let's go to the pits and John Kernan.
Well, your leader is pulled in, Rick Bye. They will go with left side tires and fuel. Bye sitting in the car, lug nuts going on. The new leader is the 51 cars. Bye still sitting in here getting every drop of fuel in the car. Now it's finally full, and they let the jack down, and Rick Bye heads down pit road.
Now remember that car number 51, Jerry Marquis, had an oiling problem early on. He came in on the early laps of the race after running second for a while, behind Curtis Markham and behind Bobby Dragon. There's Jerry Marquis, started fifth, now being shown as the leader. They came in, raised the hood, and were adding oil to the car. So apparently whatever they've done, they have certainly cured the problems, because he is being shown as the leader here at lap 37.
But you would have to wonder, Jerry, does he have enough fuel to go the rest of the way, because he did make that earlier pit stop. So we'll just have to see how that plays out. Meanwhile, Curtis Markham has been moving up through the field after having made numerous pit stops during the caution to repair a faulty ignition or ignition wires or whatever it was, and there he is, being shown up in the top 5.
Well, that's incredible. Now, Markham, if he were able to get back up as the caution comes out, and it will definitely bunch the field, what an incredible run that would be for Curtis Markham, because he has been at the back of the pack a half a dozen times today during the rain delays and the caution flags for a miss in the engine, and now being shown back in the top 5 in 5th position. Caution flag for the 3rd time today, showing here on lap 39. Jerry Marquis is our leader in the car 51. Pace car having pulled on the racetrack, but Marquis, there's the yellow car. Apparently he has gone around the pace car.
Yeah, I think he's slowing down now to let the pace car catch up to him. He better slow down, let the pace car catch up to him.
You don't pass the cars that don't have numbers on the side. Those are flashing lights.
Yeah, those with the lights on. Sort of like on the highway. You don't pass those cars with those flashing lights on the highway. You don't do it on the racetrack either.
Yep, yeah, that flashing lights you got on that one. That's a pace car. It's Elmo Langley driving the Ford Mustang pace car. Now Jerry Marquis is behind the pace car, and we're under caution here at Watkins Glen Raceway for Busch Grand National North action, the Burham 150. Back in a moment.
Well, most of those guys in his mirror all day, but he's done as the green flag comes out.
Green flag waves. Restart lap 41. Chevrolet Lumina for Jerry Marquis. Best road course finish, 11th here a year ago.
And Jerry, we speculated as to whether he might have enough fuel to go the rest of the way. Well, apparently his crew thinks he has, because they left him out there and didn't pit during this caution.
And one car takes a wild ride, the 78 machine. That's Rick Bye, who was being shown as the leader, and he bounces off that tire barrier, puts it back in gear, and starts mowing a little grass, headed back for turn 1.
Yes, he was the leader until he made his pit stop that we documented there not too long ago. So, see a little smoke coming. Might be a little rubbing over there on that right rear quarter panel, maybe against the tire.
Thunderbird being shortened about 1.5 feet, and the second place car limps off a little bit in the inner loop and gets a challenge. 56 cars a lap down. I thought that was our second place car. It's actually behind him. Take a look again. Down as one car skates off. That is Rick Bye up in turn 1.
And here's the 78. Backing into the tire wall.
And from high above in our steel platform helicopter shot, Now, he was coming in a hurry toward turn one, Ned.
He passed a lot of cars going in there, and he might have passed a couple too many because he got in there too fast, couldn't get it slowed down, hit his brakes, got on the grass, had very little control after that, and backs are right into the tire wall.
Yeah, he was headed for Ithaca if that tire wall was there because he was hustling toward turn one with no concern about making a right-hand turn. But making a right-hand turn this time is Jerry Marquis, car number 51. Those overhead shots being brought to you by the fine folks at Steel. Steel has a full line of leaf blowers, trimmers, and the #1 selling brand of chainsaws worldwide. Our Steel helicopter platform high above picturesque Finger Lakes area of Central New York, Watkins Glen International Raceway. Hovering over our leaders, that's our leader out on the left side of your screen, Jerry Marquis. And moments ago in the inner loop, we had another car skating away. It was the 03 machine.
And around he goes, top of your screen, by himself, so he can't blame it on anybody else. Say, I got hit going in there. Of course, now the pit crew's a long way off from him, but the pictures don't lie here.
A.J. Parker in the 03, 53 car hit with some damage. That's Greg Clark out of Old Chatham, New York, in the Clark Racing Chevrolet. He was black flag, being shown in 8th spot.
There's Curtis Martin we saw just a moment ago there on the screen. Curtis made a pit stop during that caution. We had seen him up in 5th place. He was back there. 17 cars being shown on the lead lap now. So he was in 17th when he came back out, but he's already moved back to 14th. So Curtis trying to move back up through the pack.
Field coming at you down underneath the flag stand there. 42 laps complete, 20 laps remain. As Curtis Markham trying to get underneath one car, working his way back toward the top 10. Take a look at our AutoZone race recap. Our leader, Jerry Marquis, led 5 of the 21 laps thus far. There have been 4 lead changes, 3 caution flags for 15 laps. The average speed was way down because of those caution laps, 36.7 miles per hour. Our lap leaders, of course, Curtis Markham was our pole sitter. He's led 8 laps, but Bobby Dragon led the bulk of this race. He has since retired. Jerry Marquis, our current leader, Rick By, who had that shut with the first turn wall a moment ago, and Andy Santerre. Out of race, Butch Leitzinger, blew an engine on the first lap. Kelly Moore, Mark Carroll, Brett Rumenick, and the veteran Dick McKay. Also out of the race, Jamie Obey, Keith Lavelle, and Bobby Dragon.
And here's the battle for the 12th position. The car number 72 of John Preston is holding off Curtis Markham at the moment.
Let's go down to the pits, and John Kernan has an update on this Lysol 200 Pontiac. John?
Well, Jerry, on that last caution, they were able to come in. They didn't get to do a lot of work as far as tires to Pontiac, gasoline, and they had changed ignition boxes one more time, but the car then still has a skip in the engine. What Hubert Hensley tells me, the only thing they haven't changed is the battery, and possibly one of the battery cables might be shifting over to the frame and shorting it out during the vibration at high RPMs.
Well, he just shortened that right front fender over toward the frame a little bit just a moment ago. Take a look.
Yeah, he was trying to pass the Preston car on the outside in the turn, and they got together, hit him a little bit. That's coming off of turn 11. But they get straightened out and go on, and finally Curtis Markham does get by Preston.
We might mention that the car number 13 of Ted Christopher was being shown in 2nd or 3rd spot when we went to break a moment ago, and he has since retired during the commercial break. And our leader here is Jerry Marquis.
And Curtis Markham did not get by John Preston. He's still behind him right there.
And a lot of concern whether Marquis can make it the distance. How about it, Bill Weber?
He cannot. In fact, his crew has estimated he will come up 2 laps shy on fuel. So they wanted him to come in during that last caution. They stood on the wall here and waved at him every time he went by because he could not hear them on the radio. They discussed having him black flag, but now they're a little hesitant because there are some raindrops down here on this end of pit road. So Jerry Marquis did not hear his crew. He does not have enough fuel to go the distance. Let's go up to John Kernan further up pit road.
Well, Bill, the fire in the 69 cars pit, that's Jeff Spraker's crew. 3 crewmen suffered minor burns, we're being told, and that's really good news. Harry Solt was the one who suffered the most severe burns, but we are told that they were only minor burns to the feet and the eyebrows, so that's some good news to report from here on pit road. Nobody seriously injured from that fire.
John, that is outstanding news. Once again, we point out the fact that a few years ago they would not have been wearing those fireproof gloves, nor would they have been wearing fireproof suits, and now NASCAR has mandated that, and that has saved a lot of injuries, particularly in that incident. Take a look at our field summary. Jerry Marquis, Mike Stavanik, Andy Santerre, Joe Bessie, and Jeff Berry, the top 5 here with 18 laps to go.
There are 6 through 10. The car number 18, Russell Brown, is in the 6th position. You can see from 11 through 15 there.
There's Curtis Markham back in 15th spot.
Stub Patton having a good run. He's in 14th.
17 cars on the lead lap. The last place car on the lead lap was a leader a moment ago. That was a 78 car that had that shunt with the wall rigged by. Bobby Crouch in 24th, a lap down. Bobby Dragon, having parked it after losing an engine, leading 23 laps today. Tommy Bowles also had a problem after a strong run early on. Butch Leisinger never really got out of the gate. Had an engine erupt as he changed gears, headed down turn 1. A lot of smoke. He was a defending champion in this race a year ago. There's debris on the racetrack. Widen out to see exactly where that might be. Maybe some ductwork or something.
Yeah, it's up through the S's there, Jerry. And here comes one car. A lot of space there without a race car. Hey, that's, yeah, I guess it's up through the S's.
That's a 78 car coming at you there, or with the back end somewhat depressed. Rick By. That's out of turn 10, coming into turn 11 there. Headed for the start-finish line, and we'll look for our leader there. From the steel helicopter shots above is Jerry Marquis. Marquis, a 2-time winner in this series a year ago, picked up a win at Riverside Park up in Agawam, Mass. Also won at Monadnock Speedway last year at Winchester, New Hampshire. Trying to pick up his first win in 1995. 38-year-old Jerry Marquis is our leader as laps are winding down, but can he make it all the way? We'll be back. Infield Connecticut driver Jerry Marquis, and his car slipping and sliding slightly as the laps are winding down, but the big question mark with his crew is, can he make it on fuel? And you heard Bill Weber a moment ago said he's talked with the crew chief down there, Gary Zippodelli, and Gary says, no way, we're going to be about 2 laps short. Well, we're about 13 away from the conclusion, make it 15 away, as we watch this car number 51 here go around the racetrack. Now watch the car number 29 here coming in to the last turn of the racetrack.
That's Dave Dion in the red car. And watch him, he pulls out, looks like he's ready to make a pass. And
now he's up behind the car number 18. Looks like he's going to come down pit road, and suddenly says, nope, I'm going to come back out on the racetrack. Now when he gets to turn 1, he's at the left side of your screen. Watch Dave Dion.
And he gets clipped by the 8 car of Beaver. Let's see, who is the 8 car?
That's the 81 of
81, yeah.
Kim Baker in the Ocean Spray Pontiac. Now, he is second in the point standings. Dave Dion, remember, Kelly Moore has already gone out. He brought the first caution flag today by going head-on into the tire barrier up in turn 10. So Dion stood to gain a tremendous amount of points. In fact, as they are running right now, if you would take a look at the points, Kelly Moore, 37th, he is out of here. Dion was in 8th spot and has fallen back, now in 16th position. Stefanik in 2nd spot. Bowles is 31st. He has called it a day. And Jerry Marquis, 5th in the points coming in, is our leader. And we are told that Dave Dion cannot take the points lead. A considerable difference between him and Kelly Moore. But Dion, the winningest driver on the tour this year, he has 3 victories. He's the only driver with multiple wins in the 9 starts on the Busch North Tour. Jerry Marquis, you're watching him come through his best finish this year, a second at Jennerstown, Pennsylvania, behind Robbie Crouch, trying to get his first win in 1995. Let's check in with Bill Weber.
Okay, Jerry, here's the latest on the gas mileage wars down here. Greg Zippodelli, the crew chief on the 51 car, said they figured the fuel mileage twice, and it's bad news both times. once, they'll run out with 4 to go. The second time they figured it, they will run out with 2 to go. I said, can you surprise yourself? He said, I don't think so, but we're hoping. I said, are you going to have NASCAR black flag your man? He said, no, we've got too much to lose right now. Then I asked Steve Hibbert how his man, Mike Stefanik, was going to do on fuel. He said, we're fine. So that's the situation for the 2 leaders. Dave Dion can't take the points lead here today because Kelly Moore has what's called a throwaway race. Not all the races in the Busch North Series count toward points. I'm not even going to begin to try and explain it to you. But Kelly Moore will leave as the points leader in the Busch North Series when we're finally done here in the Glen.
You know, if I was Greg Zipadelli, I calculated it the first time, and I could make it with 4 to go. Second time, I calculated I could make it with 2 to go. I'd calculate one more time, and you should be able to make it all the way.
Yeah, get right up there to 0 to go.
Because you're gaining 2 laps every time you calculate. Yes, that's what I would do. Andy, what do I know? Here's the 44 car, Andy Santerre. He's being shown in 4th spot right behind Joe Bessie as they're coming at you down out of turn 11. Mike Stefanik in the 09. There's Bessie in the car number 1. And behind him is Santerre in the 44. Now, the 1 car in the 44 car, they are 3rd and 4th place. And here's Jeff Berry.
Spinning around off on the grass. He's off the racetrack. Let's see if you can get him refired without having a caution. You can rest assured he is desperately trying to get that car to refire. And most of the time when you spin out, you put the brakes on. Here he is coming around and losing it, then getting out on the grass. And most of the time when you lock those brakes down, you kill the engine.
And here's a car that's smoking. That's the car that clipped right in front of Dave Dion a moment ago. The Ocean Spray car spraying a little bit of smoke up the backstretch. And, of course, the efforts of Kim Baker out of Wilbraham, Mass. His Pontiac was being shown in the top 10.
Yeah, it's being shown in 7th place. And we have a full course yellow as the leader comes by the start-finish line right now. He gets the yellow flag. So this is going to tighten things up.
And you got to wonder, now they were close on fuel. If they get some caution flags, maybe Jerry Marquis can stretch that fuel mileage enough to make it. You heard Bill Weber say a moment ago they're going to be 2 laps short, as there's Jeff Berry climbing out of his Chevrolet Monte Carlo. It comes to rest down in turn 1. 4th caution flag today here at lap 52.
But Jerry, I would guesstimate that in order to save enough fuel under the caution laps, which certainly does not burn as much fuel, but you might need 4 or 5 or maybe 6 caution laps to make up that much fuel, and it probably won't be that long.
So what do? Do you stay out there and say, I'm going to lead it and just let it run out and get as much camera time as we can get for our sponsors, or do you come in and try to get a good finish?
Okay, they're thinking about it and talking about it. No. See if we can hear them. I guess we can't hear them, but they're... Now, maybe they do have radio contact now. It looks like he's trying. Let's go down to Bill Weber. He's closer on the situation.
Well, this is Greg Zipadelli. He's talking to his crew here. Remember, his driver can't hear him. Greg, obviously, you guys have rolled the dice. You don't believe you can make it under green.
Well, we're about a lap and a half short of making it. This caution should help us maybe that half a lap. So we've committed. We've got a fast enough race car. We've got to go with it. It's our only shot at the win.
And you tried to get him in earlier. Obviously, you guys were waving on the wall, radioing him, and you couldn't get him to pit.
Yeah, we had no radio communications. He's got it now. Plug fell out of the radio or something like that, but I don't know. Those are the breaks.
Hey, Ned, sometimes it pays for a driver not to listen, huh?
Well, maybe. Time will tell here whether it's going to pay off today or not.
Well, Jerry Marquis driving for Mike and Harry Gricci and Greg Zipadelli and company trying to hang on and maybe steal one, but fuel's going to be awfully tight. We'll be back in just a moment. Glen International closing laps here. Less than 10 laps to go. There are 13 cars in the lead lap, and they have a rule, as they have in Winston Cup Racing, that within the 10-lap window, the restarts, all the lead lap cars single file at the front of the field. You see there the cars where your favorite drivers are running. Greg Clark back in 16th spot, a lap down. Martin Truex back in 18th spot for starting in 37th. Some of the cars that are out here early on, including the Leisinger car.
Break for Dave Dion in particular, Jerry. He was almost a lap down. As a matter of fact, he is still the last car on the lead lap, but now he gets to catch up to the field as the green flag waves. We're going to have a shootout here in these last 9 laps. And can the 51 car go the distance on fuel?
Jerry Marquis, 51, the leader. The 09, Stefanik in second. Then comes Bessie, Santerre, then Shaw, the former series champion from a year ago. That's a top 5. They're single file coming at you out of turn 1 as they shuffle it back in the pack, realizing the laps are waning away. And the car 63, Curtis Markham, trying to get his car up to speed, but you heard John Curtis say earlier that car has still had a problem with the miss at higher RPM. Thought maybe the battery cable might be grounding out somewhat, but Marquis trying to hang on and get his first win in 1995.
There's Markham in heavy traffic trying to move through. There's Dave Dion in the car number 29, right behind Markham, the one car between them. Dion made a pit stop here in this caution. They made an adjustment on the air pressure on his car.
That's Glen Sullivan, the car number 34, the Christie's Markets Auto Palace Chevrolet, right in front of Markham. He is in 8th position. Markham back in 9th.
But does he have enough car and enough time to get to the front?
Well, running out of laps now. It'll be 8 laps next time by. Markham will take the 8th spot away from Sullivan. And now in front of him will be the 7th place car, Eric Rodine. Good run for the rookie driver. Here in his native, or near his native Chemung County, Curtis Markham, our pole sitter, now in 8th spot. And here's the car number 29. We've got a break, as you said, Ned, with that caution coming out. That is Dave Dion. How about it, Bill Weber?
Well, he got a break, but it was a bad situation. He got hit over in the inner loop and had the right rear tire rubbing, so we had to come in and cut away that tire and send him back out. But after Kelly Moore fell out, Dave Dion and company were hoping for a high finish and make a charge in the points, but that's not going to be the case today.
Dion being shown in 12th position, last car on the lead lap. Gary Marquis, our leader, Mike Stefanik in 2nd spot. And there is Markham. He is being shown in 8th spot. The next car in front of him will be the car number 20.